Welcome to the Mitchell Hawks podcast, sponsored by Kurt's Coolers. This is where we talk about past and future events for the Mitchell Hawks. Now, here are your hosts, Scott Bridge and Stevie Dom. Hello, and welcome to the third episode of the Mitchell Hawks podcast. I'm your host, Stevie Dom, alongside Mitchell Hawks General Manager, Scott Bridge. How's it going today, Scott?
Not too bad, Steve. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic after
Good.
that big weekend. Now on to our first segment of the podcast, The Week That Was, sponsored by Born Home Produce, a local grown sweet corn supplier, fresh, sweet, and good to eat, located in Born Home on Road 164, open from July to September. On Saturday, the Hawks were on the road in Walkerton for an 8 p.m. start. It was Jacklin versus Bromley between the pipes. That was a huge goaltending matchup, as we well know that Bromley is the type of goalie that can steal a game at any given night, and Jacklin's been our dynamite starter all season.
Yeah, you're right. We're lucky that we had Josh in between the pipes on Saturday. He kept us in that game, Steve, and it was another close affair between the Mitchell Hawks and the Walkerton Capitals. It's they seem to play us tight all year, but it was a game that we knew going into it that we needed 2 points. Anything less than that, it was a disappointment. So we came out strong, I thought, with great goaltending from Josh. We got some timely scoring. And that's exactly what we needed. We ran into a little bit of penalty trouble again, but penalty killer stepped up, did a great job, and we were able to walk into Walkerton and put 2 points in the bank and walk out with what we went there with our minds set on.
Right, and as just shown there, it was 0-0 after one, kind of uneventful, but yet good first period for the Hawks. Then in the second, the Hawks got 2 goals, first of which was scored by Nolan Gagne, assisted by Mark Cassidy and Charlie Rankin. Then the second goal was scored by Tyson Hall, assisted by Braden Burdett. Those were 2 huge goals there for the Hawks, as this was a really important game.
Yeah, that's right. You could see that goal by Gagne there, Steve-O, and going hard to the net. That's exactly what you need to do against Bromley. Now, these saves right here are just ridiculous. He has no business making those 3 saves. And I was actually standing next to James Lang, their president, when Bromley was in tight robbing the Hawks. And even James, like, my goodness, yeah, it's watching him make those saves. His jaw kind of dropped a little bit too. But it was nice to get that 2-0 lead. And then felt like if we had a 2-goal lead in this Hawk game, it was something that I felt we were able to hang on to.
Yep.
Walkerton kept coming back, kept making it close, kept hanging in the game. They're a team that you don't want to keep hanging around too long. Obviously, they've got some firepower. Sam Shakes, JJ Levine as well, who came over from the Mount Forest Patriots to them this year, makes it close. Elliot McCary, another nice player that they have that can hurt you at any given time. So, but when we made it 3-1, felt quite confident after that we were going to bear down, buy in, and hang on to that game with Jacklin on the back end, able to close the door.
Yeah, and the third goal coming up right now was scored by Hayden Hessel. That was assisted by Callan Ferguson and Carter Musselman. That was a huge goal because Walkerton had a real late push trying to get 2 goals to tie the game, but the Hawks were able to stand strong and keep that 3-1 lead. That goal there from Hessel was huge.
It really was, and you could see there, Steve-O, just the way that he came into the offensive zone. I believe he looked to me to be the third forward in, and Hayden just kind of goes to that soft area, just 10 feet inside the blue line, takes the loose puck, and then goes really low, hard on the net. Against Bromley, you don't want to miss the net. You like to hit the net, and Hessel did everything perfect to score that goal, gets into the soft area, and then rips a howitzer glove side in on Bromley to make it 3-1. So that goal really gave us a little bit of breathing room and something that we were able to hang on to.
And that would be where the game would finish. It would end up being a 3-1 final for the Hawks. Jacklin saved 34 to 35 shots, and Bromley saved 24 to 27. Despite the score being 3-1 for the Hawks, it was a fairly even game. No one really controlled majority of the play. It was very um, even in the sense that one team would control the play in one zone and then the other would control about similar amount of time in the other. It was a very even game.
One thing that I was impressed with, Steve, was the Capitals' defense. The way that they moved the puck back and forth to one another, you can definitely tell that it's something that they practice very hard. Just with the way that they know where each other are, the 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 way that they play catch at the blue line, and then the way that they just throw pucks towards the house. Another thing that they did quite effectively was if there was lots of bodies in front of the net, just the way that they go hard against the end boards and let that puck bounce back out. That's something that we can take and use to our advantage too in our barn in Mitchell.
Yeah.
So it's definitely there's things that they practice in that barn that they definitely used against us that I thought they did real effectively and real well.
Yeah. So that would be it for Mitchell. That was huge 2 points to start the weekend off. And then on Sunday, they're on the road to Goderich for their final game of the regular season. It was a 2:30 start. Jacklin was back in the between the pipes in that one versus McCarthy for the Flyers. The Hawks got on the board early with about 8.5 minutes in with a goal from Andrew Geisber, assisted by Caleb Musselman and Charlie Rankin. Uh, Other than that first period where they got that first goal, they got really hit hard with the penalties, and it was a bit of a penalty parade to the box.
Yeah, it was. We had to kill off 10 minutes of penalties in the first 20 minutes. That's definitely something that you don't want to have to put up with every single game. Now, obviously, Jacklin, again, we can say it time in and time out, the way that he shut the door, and you can see some of these saves. That first save that you showed the audience on Shore, where Shore came in down the left wing, he had that puck labeled, and Jacklin was just calm, cool, collective, makes the save, doesn't allow a rebound, really keeps Goderich on their toes. They tried to shoot low hard on his pads, but he wasn't kicking out rebounds. That goal by Jizzy there was awesome. Just the way that he came in, kind of faked the shot with his shoulder, took another 2 steps to his left, and then went glove side, McCarthy to make it 1-0. That was a nice goal by Andy there. And I know that he was excited to get that one there. And again, you just look at Jacklin moving post to post, side to side, making the saves look easy. He was square to the puck all afternoon and gave our defenseman lots of confidence that he was going to make that first save. And all they have to do is just stay in position to clear those loose pucks away if he did allow a rebound there. Another nice glove save that he sees through traffic, the way that he reacts to the pucks around bodies and in great position still to make the save. And it was nice to finally open the floodgates a little bit in the second period, just with the way that we came out and with the way that we responded after a tight first period. Schools was able to, again, go real hard to the net. That's a goal scorer's goal right there.
Yep.
Schools has some nice hands, and it's nice to see him finish a couple in this game. I know that he's been working really hard on that in practice, and it finally pays off for him in this game. And Tenney, again, going hard to the net, a real nice play by Cass to get him that puck, and Johnny makes no mistake. Those 2 goals were just back to back, and that's exactly what we needed to throw some confidence through the bench and get the guys talking, get them a little bit more engaged with one another there. And this one here, I know that you said you apologize for a little bit of blurriness, but a great shot that you got there, Steve-O, and Cass finishing off a nice play in front, and he shot that puck through traffic, and it beat McCarthy glove right around the midsection of his body, and it's not too often that you beat him there. And obviously Cass uses the defenseman as a screen and polishes it off, and Fergie again with another couple points. I felt he had a great game as well on the back end, rushing that puck, and this is a beauty goal that Fritzley got. He was pumped up before the game. They had a little bit of a ceremony for the 4 OAs, and Fritzley was one of those OAs that they congratulated before the game. And you can see that he had a little bit of jump in his step and finished off that nice breakaway goal on Jacklin going high glove. And I felt that we responded appropriately here again. I mean, Ferg with traffic in front doesn't try to hammer it through, but gets the puck in return. And another nice move there over to Schools. And again, makes no mistake, takes the puck from Fergie, goes high glove, and again, he finishes it off. Bird getting in on that one. He started the play as Fergie got Bird the puck back to Fergie and then over to Schools. So just a real nice play. I thought that line played real well.
Yeah.
And they gelled together. I know we've been putting. This is the one where you apologize for the blurriness on the Gagne goal, but felt that getting back to that line, Schools has played well with everybody that we've put him with since he's come over from Stratford. So it's been a real nice addition, and I felt like he's kind of been a little bit of a firepower at every line that we've put him on, and they've seemed to produce. So, and I can't say enough good things about Schools so far this year.
Now, someone who was all over the score sheet in this one was the captain, Mark Cassidy.
Yeah.
I think he had a goal and I think 2 assists. He ended up leading the team in points, 41 points this season, second in goals with 19. He's had a huge, monstrous season, and to have a captain step up like that, it's always huge, especially for a team looking to go far in the playoffs. What has Cassidy meant to this team?
He's done everything that we've asked of him, Steve-O. And but we knew coming into the season that he was going to be that type of leader. Obviously, he gains the respect of his peers. And again, if there's anything that the coaches need from him, they'll get together, have a little meeting with them, go over the game plan and the strategy, and Cass approves. And if he has anything to add, he'll do that. But you see him right there sliding through to block a shot from the point. I believe he went down 3 or 4 times trying to block shots in Goderich. So he's been doing that all year. He's been a great penalty killer for us all year. Obviously led the team in points this year. He's centered the first line all year, even when we've adjusted lines a little bit. And he's moved down to the second or third line just to get other guys going. Never once did he come and complain. Never once did he think of himself and say, guys, like, come on, like, what are we doing here? He has stuck with the program. He's taken every role that the coaching staff's given to him this year. And the guys in the room love him. He gets the guys going before every game with the starting lineup, like he's done every single game. A few of those games that he went up to Ottawa and missed a few games. He unfortunately had a family member pass away and this year. And so, we were sorry to hear that. And we had to miss him for a couple games and we missed him when he was gone. Well, he's the heartbeat of the dressing room. So he's meant everything. And captains like that, they're not easy. Malcolm McLeod here last year, heartbeat of the dressing room. It's like, oh, we're missing Malcolm now this year. And Cass has jumped in and he's been great. Been great all year with everything we've asked of him.
So now, coming into this game, the Hawks were currently tied for third with Wingham, and there's a game between Walkerton and Hanover, and in order for Mitchell to finish anything higher than third, we needed Walkerton to win that game. They ended up winning that game 9-8, securing the Mitchell Hawks second place in the Pollock division, I believe, for the second straight year.
Yeah.
With the lowest goals against in the entire league for the second straight year. So that's pretty great finish. What did you see from the team that helped them throughout the whole season get to that second place finish again?
Yeah, I think we had the lowest goals against in the Pollock division. I'm not sure about the entire league. There's a few teams up there that had a lot of small amount of goals against, but definitely in the Pollock division, we finished with the lowest goals against. A lot of things had to go right for us on Sunday to finish second place. Yeah. And that's the one thing that I was Josh Keel, the director of hockey ops, myself and James Lang in Walkerton on Saturday night, had a little sit down and we were chit-chatting about some things and talking about their game the next day against Hanover, and we just kept saying, if you can do us a favor here, that would be fantastic. And so he's like, well, we'll try to get the boys all pumped up, and we know it's a big game for us against Hanover, that James was saying, as Goderich was breathing right down their neck, and they didn't want to finish last,
right.
So they wanted to finish ahead of Goderich, so they knew how big of a game that they had. And it just all worked out. Hanover showed up with a full squad. Walkerton showed up with 12 skaters and one goalie, and
Yeah.
won the game 9-8. That's got to be a little bit of a confidence boost for the Capitals going into the playoffs. Obviously, they'll have to face the Barons in a 7-game series. It's really hard to repeat that regular season game night after night after night. It can be kind of taxing. So we'll see how they do. But the Capitals did us a little bit of a favor. But we did our job on the weekend. We went in with a mindset we wanted 4 points, and we walked away with 4 points. So we did our job, and we got a little help along the way.
Now this season, you've had a huge turnover from last season roster wise. A lot of younger guys had to step up, namely Dawson Deeds, Braden Vosper, Talbot Geiger. What's it been like to see those younger guys really come up and be able to handle this level of play through a full season?
Well, the nice thing about those 3 guys that you mentioned, Geiger, Dietz, and Vosper, is that they played together for the Mitchell U18s last year and won a championship.
Right.
So they've grown together as individuals, and they've been teammates for a number of years, and they've won together, and they know what it takes to win. And those guys were coming to the rink last year and cheering for the Mitchell Hawks, and then Geiger and Dietz stepped in the playoffs last year and got a little taste of the action. And they were invited out to spring skate with us in Stratford, and they had a nice showing. We knew going into spring skate that they were guys we wanted to look at, and guys that we were hungry to get, and guys that we wanted to wear the Mitchell Hawks jersey and then grow together. Dawson Dietz, Talbot Geiger are 17, Braden Vosper's 18. So we're really, really hoping that they're going to be lifelong Mitchell Hawks. And I only know we're going to see them produce and get better and better every single year. Hayden Hessel, 16 years old, coming in this year, rookie with us. Jonathan Tenhag, 17, played U18 for the Huron Perth Lakers AAA last year. Another guy that we wanted really bad this year and was on our radar. Josh Jacklin coming in from the Kincardine Bulldogs, another new one that came in with a little experience, though, more than the other guys. Yeah. But another nice guy that was brought in to help us out. So, yeah, Zach McCann, a rookie this year. He got a taste of playoff action against the Mount Forest Patriots and the Hanover Barons last year. Right. On the back end, he stepped in and has played forward for us this year, as well as Vosper. So every year you're going to have a little bit of turnover, but those young guys that I mentioned have done a great job coming in. And you've got some other veteran guys like Brady Brzezinski coming in this year and to be a leader on the back end. He's been a real nice addition for us. And Isaac Sturgeon, another guy that the guys love in the dressing room, coming over from Dorchester. So, we've had some nice additions to the team this year. And obviously Schooley, I mentioned him in the highlight package coming in from Stratford has been a nice addition as well.
Now, last year you had one of the best goaltending performance probably in recent years for the Hawks, and Tyler Parr. He ended up moving on. I think he's an overager. And then you acquired Josh Jacklin in the offseason. And Jacklin hasn't missed a beat since he's been here. He's played unbelievably every game. What has he meant as you transition from Parr? As obviously Parr was a huge part of your team last year.
Tyler Parr is an elite goalie, Steve-O, and he has been for a number of years. Guy that I watched play for the Stratford Warriors and produced well at the junior B level. And then when he comes down to, I shouldn't say come down, when he decided that he wanted to continue his junior career and get a couple years of eligibility under his belt, coming to the Mitchell Hawks, you knew that he was going to be an outstanding goaltender, an elite goaltender, and he proved that last year. And even this year, Tyler Parr playing with Seaforth, and he's playing that senior hockey now, and he's shutting the door. And you talked to Holden Lansing about his performances, and he's just been lights out for them this year. So we knew that filling the shoes of Tyler Parr were not going to be easy. Josh Keel and I had a game plan going into the off season on goaltenders we wanted to talk to. Josh Jacklin was on our radar. He was on our list. But for a guy to be traded, it was hard for Kincardine, I think, because they have so much respect for Jacklin and they like him so much. And that's very understandable and very respectful. But at the end of the day, you hear other general managers talk. and there's things that they do that's in the player's best interest at heart. And with Josh going to school in Waterloo, I believe we were very fortunate. And that's one of the reasons why we were able to acquire him. It's closer to school for him,
Right.
less of a drive. His dad is on the bench, and having family at all the games goes a long ways. But we're very fortunate to bring Josh Jacklin in. He's been the backbone of our team all season long, and he's a major contributor to us allowing the least goals against in the Pollock division. And I know when Josh Keelan and I met with Josh to talk to him about joining the Mitchell Hawks, when we got permission to talk to him, I just really liked his attitude and
Right.
and how he approaches the game and how he approaches business off the ice. He's it's just so many good things to say about him. We're just
Right.
really ecstatic to have him.
Now that will do it for the Hawk season. A very good effort all around throughout the whole season to allow them to finish second. They will now move on to the playoffs, which will lead us into our second segment, which is a little bit of a different one compared to the last two episodes. It will be the series preview, sponsored by Woodcock Brothers Transportation Group, located in Severinville. Private, family-owned business committed to on-time transportation service for all of their customers. Coming in the playoffs, you guys end up finished second, obviously, as mentioned before. You will face off against the Goderich Flyers. You guys were 7-0 against the Flyers this season, outscoring them 42-9. Game 1 will be at 8 p.m. Wednesday night. The rest of the schedule has not yet been released. What are you looking for from the guys in this series? Obviously, you've played them really well. Are you looking to change anything? Are you guys looking just to do the same sort of thing you've been doing? What are you looking for from them?
Well, we'll leave it to the coaching staff to see what they want to change up or what they want to keep the same. I stay out of that
Yeah.
and respect their decisions and what they want to go with. But the one thing that I look forward to is just keep four lines rolling and make sure that we get everybody ample amount of ice time to keep their confidence up. We're looking to roll four lines. You can't walk into any game like we talked about last week. You can't just walk into Goderich when you're playing them and think you're just going to win every game.
Right.
You have to go out and play a full 60 minutes and prove that you are the better team. Just look at what happened on Sunday. With taking 10 minutes of penalties in the first period, that could have been a lot different if Goderich's power play clicked and maybe got 2 or 3 goals on us.
Yeah.
So we have to come prepared. We have to come focused. These are the playoffs now. It's a new season. Goderich knows it's a new season, so this is a fresh slate for them too as well. And they're going to come out buzzing as well. So we have to stick to the game plan and again buy in and realize that every game matters, every shift matters, because you just take one shift off and it can be the difference in a game.
Now, obviously, I believe it will be McCarthy versus Jacklin for a possible 7-game series. That'd be a very good goaltending matchup to watch. Either goalie can steal either game, any game of the series, and they've both played fairly well, respectively. What are you looking for from those two?
Well, we'll start on our end with Jacklin. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be amped up, and I definitely know that we're going to see the best in him in the playoffs. This is something I know that he's worked very hard for this season, and deserves to start game number 1 and roll with the punches. When you look at McCarthy on the other end, he's an overager. This is his last year and the last kick at the can when it comes to a championship. So he's seen a lot of rubber this year. He's faced a lot of shots. There's a lot of games where I look at the score box and see that he's made high 40s, 50 plus saves in a game. Some nights where he's facing 60 shots. So he's used to facing a lot of rubber night in and night out. So that's one thing that we have to continue to do is throw pucks at him, especially when you're playing those 3 games in 4 nights, potentially. Yeah. So definitely it's what you see throughout the playoffs. Don't know what our schedule schedule is yet, but probably 3 games in 4 nights or 3 games in 5 nights, and we need to throw as many pucks at the net as possible and wear him down.
Right. So yeah, it's gonna be a real exciting series. Before we move on, we want to give a huge shout out to Monteith Ritzma Phillips Law Offices for being our bus sponsor for Game 2. It is greatly appreciated, so thanks to Monteith Ritzma Phillips Law Offices. Game 2, as well as the rest of the schedule, has not yet been decided. Uh, when the schedule is confirmed, you will be able to find it on any of the following social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or the Mitchell Hawks website. The links are in the description of this video. Now on to our final segment of the show, our guest interview sponsored by Hoagie's Farm Supplies, located in Broadhagen. Hoagie's is a third-generation family-owned farming supplies business serving surrounding rural communities since 1948. Our guest today, as we've talked about him plenty in this show, is Hawks goalie Josh Jacklin. Josh was an off-season acquisition. He formerly played for the Kincardine Bulldogs. This season with the Hawks, he has recorded a record of 14-10-2-2 with a 927 save percentage, a 2.56 goals against average. He has 3 shutouts this season and is getting ready for his first playoff game as a Hawk. Welcome to the show, Josh Jacklin.
Thanks for having me.
How are you feeling after the big weekend?
It was a good weekend. I'm just resting up now, massaging my legs and everything, so trying to get ready for Wednesday's big tilt.
Obviously, you're not from Mitchell, so I kind of want to get an idea of what your minor hockey experience is. First question I have is, were you always a goalie? Was that something you're always drawn to?
So I wasn't a goalie for my first couple of years playing hockey. I was a defenseman. I was actually pretty good too. I'm just kidding. One of the years in novice rep, our goalie got sick, so I had to fill in. Well, I asked to fill in, and then played pretty good. So I decided I'd try it out the next year, and then it just stuck with me.
What drew you to being a goalie? Obviously, it's a lot of pressure being the last line of defense in a game. What drew you to that level of pressure or that position?
I just thought it was pretty cool to wear all the equipment because it looked cool. Can design your own stuff, so yeah.
Did you have any influences or any goaltenders you kind of modeled your game after? Anyone you looked up to? Is there anyone in that atmosphere?
I'd say Mika Kiprusoff played for Calgary. Me and my dad's favorite team. Also, Carey Price. He's probably one of the best goalies of all time. So,
Right.
you ask any goalie, they'll likely say Carey Price.
Where did you play your minor hockey?
So, I started out in Listowel minor hockey up until my first year at Bantam. Then I moved on to Huron Perth Lakers AAA,
Right.
and then played there for a couple of years, and then went back to Listowel for 1 year, and then made Kincardine. And now I'm here.
So you just mentioned you played for Kincardine. What was it like playing for them last season?
Oh, I had an awesome time. It was all the guys were great. Their management was great. Their coaches were great. Everything was great. I got the most respect for that organization as you can. It was just awesome playing with some guys from my hometown as well. So,
As mentioned before, you were moved to the Hawks during the off season. What was it like to transition from one team to another?
like the transition wasn't that bad. I already met most of the guys last year just through my dad, and having my dad on the bench as well as makes it easier than it can be. Played hockey with some of the guys and know people's brothers. So
Now, you've been playing for the Hawks for a full season. What has been your favorite memory so far as a Hawk?
I'd probably say the first game and first win against Wingham there. Wingham unfortunately put me and the Kincardine Bulldogs out of playoffs the year prior. So
Right.
it was good to beat them first game. There was a couple fights. It was a good game. And yeah, just in the room with the boys after. It was pretty nice.
We're coming up on the 2023 playoffs. What do you look forward to going into these playoffs as now a member of the Mitchell Hawks?
I'm hoping for a deep playoff run. I'm pretty antsy to get to the finals, just like last year. I was spectating last year, and I'd like to be in it this year. So
Now, you mentioned before something that drew you to being a goalie was the gear, wearing the gear, and designing your own gear. Currently, I believe you wear all Bauer gear. Have
Yes.
you always been a Bauer guy, or is that something that you changed here and there throughout your goal?
Like I used to wear like CCM, just like hand me down stuff because never want to spend $2,000 on a new set of pads. But
Right.
then as soon as I started playing AAA, we kind of got serious about buying equipment and everything. So that's when I originally switched to Bauer. And I've talked to many goalies out there, and they all say Bauer's the best. And
Mhm.
Bauer just stuck with me. I like how it feels and everything.
Do you have what model of Bauer do you currently use?
So I wear 2S Pro pads and glove and blocker, and then I wear the Bauer Connect goalie skates.
Do you have any specific things that you do with your equipment that not normal goalies wouldn't, or anything superstitial you do with your gear?
Well, I usually get dressed in the same order every time. Right side first as well for skates and my knee pads and pads and everything. But nothing really that crazy. Like I took out the knee strap on my pads just so it wraps around my calf better. Feel like I
Right.
get better mobility from that, but nothing really else. Everything's pretty standard.
Do
Yeah.
you have any questions, Scott?
Yeah, yeah, Josh, it's obviously been a great year, and we're happy to have you aboard. And speaking from management and our side of things, you've had a great season. We agree with you. Let's have a good long playoff run.
Yeah.
But what have been a few things that you've seen from the crease with our deep defense core this year?
Well, our defense are really good at getting the puck up to the wingers, I'd say. They're good at going D to D and straight up. Um, and yeah, they really shut down the middle of the ice pretty good too. Makes my job a lot easier when shots are from the outside. That's why my save percentage is so high, just because that's the only way the other team get shots on me most of the time. But yeah, like pretty solid, especially in the offensive zone as well. Just talking, rimming pucks, everything. So
Anything that we need to keep keep going with here come playoff time?
we just need to stick to the simple plays and basic stuff. You know, get our confidence up. First couple games against Goderich, um, then translate it into the rest of the playoffs.
Now, obviously, the playoffs are coming up. Last year, you said you played with Kinkar in the playoffs. Is there anything you do differently come playoff time that sometimes you don't during the regular season? Whether that's eating differently, whether that's preparing differently, whether that's looking more at what the other team does. Is there anything different you do?
Really, the only thing differently I do is I up the size of my Red Bull before the game, just so I'm extra amped up. But this year, I try to do everything the same as I can, just because I treat every game like it's a playoff game because I love the game. I want to win. So really, nothing's changing much. Maybe I'm not talking as much in the room or joking around with the guys on the bus or just listening to music. You know, getting focused.
Now, Josh, you drink the sugar-free
Yep.
Red Bulls. Do you go to the big sugar-free, or is it the big Red Bull that's
Yeah,
non-sugar-free?
I still go with the sugar free. The sugar kind of makes my legs crash like halfway through the game. So the sugar free really helps me just stay amped and focused and everything. So
Now, the last, I'd say, couple weeks, you guys have been in a dogfight for that second place position. Obviously, fighting with Wingham and Hanover. What has the dressing room atmosphere been like? Has you guys been in such tight race?
yeah, we've become like more focused these past couple weeks, looking at the standings. It's getting tight. Like we're a lot more focused. We're talking a lot more in the room about what we should be doing, and how we can do that. And just picking each other up when someone makes bad play or someone has a bad shift or something like that. No one's yelling or screaming at anyone else. It's just pick me up and then go.
Anything you'd like to say to the fans before we get end the show and you guys get ready for your playoff run?
Come out Wednesday night for a good game. That's all I gotta say.
Well, thank you very much, Josh, for coming on the show, and good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you.
That will do it for our show today. Any final remarks, Bridgie?
No, I think you hit it on the head there, Steve. It's another great job.
Thank you very much. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow the Mitchell's social medias. This podcast has now been posted on Spotify, so if you want to listen to us there, be sure to do that. Thank you, and see you next time.